My girlfriend looked me straight in the eye and goes, "Personal trainers are just gym bros who peaked in high school." This was right after I'd offered to help design a workout routine for her since she'd been complaining for months about being stressed and out of shape. I just smiled and said, "Fitness requires honest tracking." Then I showed her the GPS data from her fancy new fitness tracker, proving she'd been having 2-hour workouts at some guy's apartment every Tuesday, plus security footage of her sneaking him into my gym after hours. She discovered real quick that some exercise routines leave very detailed digital footprints when her corporate boss got all the evidence and fired her for billing fake client meetings while conducting affairs on company time. If you've ever dealt with someone who mocks your career while secretly using your success for their betrayal, definitely hit that subscribe button because this gets absolutely wild. What really stings about this whole situation is how Jessica built up this narrative over 2 years that I was somehow beneath her professionally. I'm 28, own a successful gym that I built from literally sleeping on the floor when I couldn't afford rent. Now I've got six-figure revenue, a waiting list for training sessions, even helped design rehab programs for the local physical therapy clinic. Jessica worked in marketing for this corporate consulting firm, always dressed perfectly, always name-dropping Fortune 500 clients she worked with. For the first year, she seemed genuinely proud of what I was building. Posted supportive stuff on Instagram about dating an entrepreneur, even brought her work friends to check out the gym. But somewhere around month 18, the tone completely shifted. Instead of being supportive, she started making these cutting little remarks about my career prospects. "There's only so much you can do with personal training," she'd say when we talked about the future. "It's not exactly scalable." Or when people asked what I did for work, "He's in fitness, very hands-on." The way she said hands-on made it sound like I was doing manual labor instead of running a legitimate business. But the comments that really started getting under my skin were about intelligence and ambition. She'd make these casual observations about how her corporate work required complex strategic thinking, while fitness was just motivation and energy. "I mean, it's great that you're passionate," she'd tell me, "but my job involves market analysis, consumer psychology, actual business strategy. It's just different intellectual demands." Different intellectual demands. Like understanding biomechanics, nutrition science, and injury prevention was just cheerleading with dumbbells. The conversation that really opened my eyes happened about 4 months ago. I came home excited because I'd helped this client deadlift her own body weight for the first time after recovering from back surgery. Took us 8 months of careful progression, but she finally hit this major milestone. "That's nice," Jessica said, barely glancing up from her laptop. "I closed a $250,000 rebranding contract today." I tried to share in her success. "That's amazing. We should celebrate both wins." She gave me this look like I'd suggested we celebrate someone learning to tie their shoes. "I just think we're operating at different professional levels. My career is moving into executive territory while you're still doing the same basic training you started with." "My revenue has doubled in the past year," I pointed out. "But it's still fundamentally a service job. You're not building anything that creates lasting value." Service job. Like helping people transform their health and confidence was somehow less meaningful than helping corporations change their logos. Here's the ironic part, though. Despite constantly dismissing fitness as intellectually simple, Jessica was always complaining about her own health. Always stressed, always tired, constantly posting workout motivation quotes on Instagram, but never actually exercising. "I really need to start taking care of myself," she'd say, scrolling through fitness influencer content. "Look at these women, I used to be in such good shape." Every time I offered to help, there was an excuse: too busy with work, too self-conscious to work out where my clients might see her. Would start next month when her project deadlines calmed down. Next month never came. Then about 6 months ago, something shifted dramatically. Jessica announced she was finally ready to prioritize fitness. bought this expensive Garmin watch, downloaded workout apps, started talking about meal prep and training schedules. I was genuinely excited. Finally, we'd have something to connect over. I could design a beginner program specifically for you, I offered. We could train together during your lunch breaks. Her response caught me completely off guard. That's sweet, but I need to develop my own relationship with fitness, without it being connected to your expertise. I tried to understand her perspective. Maybe she wanted to build confidence independently before working with someone whose career was fitness. Where are you planning to train? I found this place downtown that's convenient to my office. Nothing fancy, just basic equipment. When I offered to check it out, she deflected. It's pretty amateur compared to your setup. You'd probably think it's beneath your standards. Jessica started having these Tuesday afternoon training sessions that she was weirdly secretive about. When I'd ask how workouts went, she'd give these vague responses that didn't sound like someone actually experiencing fitness training. Just basic stuff, some cardio, some weights. What kind of cardio? Which muscle groups? I don't really know the technical terms like you do. General conditioning. That seemed odd. Jessica was incredibly articulate about her marketing work, using precise industry terminology to explain complex campaigns. But suddenly, she couldn't describe basic exercise equipment. What really bothered me was how her fitness tracker data never matched her workout stories. She'd come home claiming these intense training sessions left her completely exhausted, but her heart rate data showed she'd barely elevated above resting levels. One Tuesday, she came home with this elaborate story about how her trainer pushed her through this brutal leg workout that left her unable to walk properly. "I can't even feel my quads," she said, collapsing dramatically on the couch. But when I glanced at her fitness app while she was showing me daily step counts, the data told a completely different story. Heart rate stayed in light activity zone for the entire session. GPS location wasn't anywhere near downtown where she claimed her gym was located. The GPS coordinates showed 428 Maple Street, which Google Maps revealed as a residential apartment complex. Not a gym, not a fitness studio. Someone's home. That realization hit me like a truck. My girlfriend was spending 2 hours every Tuesday at some stranger's apartment, claiming it was fitness training. I drove by during her next workout session. Standard apartment complex, no visible fitness facilities, but Jessica's car was definitely in the parking lot. The social media investigation made everything worse. While her GPS tracker showed her at this residential address, her Instagram stories showed scheduled posts from coffee shops downtown during the exact same times. She was creating digital alibis. Digging deeper, I found photos where she was tagged with Marcus Chen, someone I'd never heard her mention. His profile showed he worked for Pinnacle Solutions, one of her company's biggest clients. The photo timestamps matched her supposed workout sessions exactly. The final piece of evidence came from my own gym's security system. While reviewing footage for insurance purposes, I spotted something that made my blood run cold. There was Jessica, using her emergency access code to bring Marcus into my facility at 8 p.m. on Thursday. The timestamp showed this was when I was training clients at their homes. They weren't working out. They were using my gym as their private meeting place, sitting on equipment, walking through my office, making out against the front desk where I conduct business consultations every day. I watched this footage of them treating my professional space like their personal playground, while I was across town working to build the business Jessica constantly dismissed as unsophisticated. When I confronted her with the GPS evidence, her immediate response was deflection and attack. "You're tracking my fitness data now," she said, going full defensive mode. "I'm trying to understand why your workouts happen at residential addresses instead of gyms. Maybe I'm doing outdoor training. Maybe I'm trying different facilities. Why does it matter?" "Jessica, you've spent 2 hours at the same apartment address every Tuesday for 3 months. I could see her calculating how much I might know. "That's my trainer's home studio. What trainer operates out of their apartment? It's more personal that way, better for beginners." And who's Marcus Chen? Because you're tagged in photos with him during your workout times. The color completely drained from her face. She hadn't expected me to connect those dots. He's just a work contact. Sometimes we discuss projects after my training. And the security footage of you bringing him to my gym after hours. Complete silence. Then everything came spilling out. Jessica had been having an affair with Marcus Chen for 4 months. He was a married account manager at Pinnacle Solutions, and Jessica was his primary contact for a major consulting project. The Tuesday apartment visits happened when Marcus's wife took their kids to activities. The gym sessions were when I was training clients off-site. The fitness tracker was specifically bought to create fake workout alibis. I needed cover for meeting him during work hours, she admitted. If I said I was finally getting serious about fitness, you'd be supportive and wouldn't ask detailed questions. She'd weaponized my passion for helping people achieve their fitness goals to create cover for cheating on me. But here's where Jessica's corporate expertise became her downfall. She'd been billing the time spent with Marcus as client consultation hours, essentially getting paid by her company to conduct a personal affair. When I shared the evidence with her boss not for revenge, but to protect my business from potential liability, it triggered a full internal investigation. Henderson and Associates had strict policies about client relationships and billing accuracy. The audit revealed Jessica had falsified over 40 hours of billable time, essentially stealing $3,200 in wages for work she hadn't performed. The investigation also uncovered that Marcus had been sharing confidential strategic information with Jessica, who used insider knowledge to help her company pitch competing clients more effectively. What started as an affair had become corporate espionage and fraud. Jessica was terminated within a week for ethics violations, time-sheet fraud, and misuse of company resources. Marcus got fired too, losing his security clearance and $89,000 salary. Marcus's wife learned about the affair through the HR investigation and immediately filed for divorce. Pinnacle Solutions canceled their contract with Henderson and Associates, costing both companies significant revenue. But the real damage was to Jessica's professional reputation. Corporate marketing is a surprisingly small industry, especially in mid-sized cities. Getting fired for billing fraud and ethics violations becomes common knowledge pretty quickly. She tried controlling the narrative by posting on social media about how I was controlling and unsupportive of her fitness goals. But several people in our local business community pointed out that having affairs using your boyfriend's gym as a meeting location isn't really about fitness goals. The local business journal even covered the Henderson and Associates scandal. Marketing firm fires employee for client affair and billing fraud. Not exactly the professional publicity Jessica wanted. She ended up moving back with her parents and taking a retail management job at Target that pays about a third of her previous salary. Her carefully built professional network completely evaporated. Marcus's situation was even worse. Divorce proceedings became public record. His industry connections dried up due to security clearance issues, and he had to sell the family home to cover legal fees. Meanwhile, my gym actually got busier because the whole situation demonstrated my commitment to professional integrity and ethical boundaries. Several new clients specifically mentioned they appreciated working with someone who maintains high standards even in difficult personal circumstances. I learned that when someone constantly diminishes your profession while benefiting from your resources, they're setting up justification for betraying you. I learned that fitness trackers create detailed evidence trails of every decision you make. And I learned that people who think they're smarter than everyone else often create the most obvious proof of their own deception. My new girlfriend is a physical therapist who actually understands and respects the fitness industry. When she talks about workouts, she means actual exercise at actual facilities. When she uses fitness tracking apps, the data matches her stories because she's telling the truth. She finds the whole GPS evidence situation brilliantly ironic. So she bought expensive technology specifically to lie to you, but the technology ended up documenting every lie, she asked when I explained the investigation. That's exactly what happened. Jessica was so focused on creating convincing alibis that she forgot digital evidence works both ways. It's honest, straightforward, and absolutely wonderful to be with someone who values integrity over convenience. If this story taught you anything about trusting data over explanations that don't add up, or if you've ever caught someone's lies through technology they forgot was tracking them, drop a comment about your experience. And definitely subscribe, because I've got more stories about how people's own digital habits created the evidence trail that exposed their deception. Sometimes the most sophisticated lies get undone by the simplest technology that people forget is recording everything they do.